Many people across the country were shocked to find out that a Coast Guard lieutenant apparently planned to assassinate politicians and members of the media before going on to kill literally as many people as he possibly could, up to and including every person on the planet. And because that's so shocking, lots of people were talking about it. But not everyone was talking about it. Some corners were curiously silent. And the White House, not really interested in talking about this, despite the fact that under their watch, they stopped a potential terror attack. So why so silent? Well, asked for comment on this because she had to be asked since they were not forthcoming. White House spokeswoman Sarah Huckabee Sanders said, "The president and the entire administration have condemned violence in all forms, as we've stated many times." Sanders did not respond to questions about whether Trump planned to tone down his rhetoric. And we'll return to the president's rhetoric shortly. But let's talk about the rest of government because White House doesn't really want to talk about it. In fact, the DOJ, the ones who stopped it, they don't really want to talk about it, which is weird in terms of recent history. So outside of the court filings that reporters found, the DOJ isn't saying anything. And sort of related to that, a study published last year by the Washington-based Institute for Social Policy and Understanding showed that the Justice Department was 6 times more likely to issue press releases in alleged plots that involved Muslims than non-Muslims. Something that is both simultaneously obviously the case, and thankfully we actually have the numbers on it. So here you have a white guy who wanted to start a race war, who wanted to gun down Democratic politicians and liberal media figures. They stopped him before he could do it, before he could kill someone, before he could kill lots of people. And they don't really care to talk about it. Weird, huh? Now, Donald Trump, a guy who was involved early on pushing some of the narratives that this guy apparently believed about politicians, about the media, about particular politicians and members of the media. He's silent, which is weird because he's not generally a silent sort of guy. Like, let's talk one particular topic, criticism of the media. He criticizes the media. This guy wanted to gun down people in the media. Apparently, since he became a presidential candidate, Trump has sent more than 1,300 tweets critical of the media. That is a huge number. That is more than anyone should ever tweet about anything. He tweets about that just in terms of attacking the media. Now, to be fair, is it fair that I am comparing his rhetoric against the media and right-wing extremists who want to assassinate members of the media? Well, look, he's tweeted 1,300 times, but maybe it's really nuanced, okay? Well, let's take a look at a few. So we have nuanced critique like, fake news is truly the enemy of the people. And the fake news media, failing New York Times, NBC News, ABC, CBS, CNN, is not my enemy, it is the enemy of the American people. So just to be really clear, we know that objectively the reason he demonizes the media and particular people in the media is because they threaten his power and influence. So he understands that, thus the projection. They're not my enemy when that is at best all that they are, from his point of view, their enemy. They're the enemy of the American people. And as we say many times, if someone is your enemy, what do you do? If you have been trained, if your career for multiple decades has been in the armed forces, what do you do to the enemy of America and its people? Some people will take that to be a metaphor, thankfully. Maybe Trump means it to be a metaphor, but not everybody will take it that way. And some people have both the resources in terms of weapons and ammunition and the motivation and the skills to actually do something about it. You also have this, the New York Times reporting is false, they are true, enemy of the people. We bring that one up because that was just a couple of days ago. So the weird thing is, Donald Trump hasn't said anything about this. Isn't that weird? He found time to say something about Jussie Smollett, calling it racism because he attacked MAGA people. Weird that he thinks that criticizing MAGA is a racial attack. I thought all sorts of people believed in making America great again. Apparently Trump doesn't think so. He thinks it's one race. I don't know which one. Maybe it's Indian Americans, I don't know. He didn't make time to talk about this, but he did talk about Jussie Smollett. He talked about the Covington high school kids a bunch of times. He found time to do that. Weird, he talks about SNL when they criticize him. But his administration successfully stopping a domestic terrorist, he doesn't find time for. And is it because he's just not interested or he doesn't know about it, or is it because he acknowledges that this guy, for better or worse, let's say best case scenario, Donald Trump has no interest in any act of violence against any of his enemies, political or otherwise, and this guy just took things exactly the wrong way. Donald Trump, even in that best case scenario, understands that this guy was going after his list of political enemies on the politics side and on the media side. He was targeting Senator Blumenthal, a guy who no one in the country has him as one of their top enemies other than Donald Trump. Nancy Pelosi, who of course he continually attacks, Maxine Waters, who he has literally threatened on social media before, and members of the media, in particular members of the media. This terrorist was searching for them immediately after Donald Trump criticized them. So he knows that that looks absolutely horrendous. We know the implications of that, but Donald Trump, of course, does not want to own up to why his rhetoric could be contributing to acts of violence in the past and in the future. So I ask you, how many of these do we need before it's fair for us to have a national conversation about the threat that Donald Trump and his social media activity pose? Cesar Sayoc sent literally over a dozen pipe bombs to people on Donald Trump's enemy list. This guy wanted to gun them down, to assassinate them. He wanted to kill members of the Supreme Court to open up seats for Donald Trump. He wanted to clear out all the main media critics of Donald Trump. So you have Cesar Sayoc, who thankfully failed in his acts of domestic terror. You have this guy that thankfully was tracked down and stopped before his acts of political and racial terror. How many people do we need in this list? Is there anyone in Barack Obama's 2 terms, not 2 years, 2 terms in the presidency, is there anyone like this that pops up that can be credibly said to have been directly inspired by the president's rhetoric? You know that that's not true. You know that that doesn't exist. But we're living in that. And we're just 2 years into what could be 8+ years of Donald Trump as president. Maybe that doesn't scare you at this point. Certainly scares me.
Thanks for watching this free clip of the Young Turks. Don't forget to become a TYT member today. For more exclusive content, join now at tyt.com/join.